The music was loud, the lights soft and golden, and laughter floated across the hall like smoke. It was supposed to be a night of celebration, her company's annual gala, an event she'd been excited about for weeks. She'd spent the afternoon getting ready, her dress shimmering like starlight when she walked out of the bedroom. I still remember how my breath caught. "You look beautiful," I'd said, but she just smiled faintly and replied, "Don't wait up too long if I get caught in work talk." I didn't know then that those words would haunt me before the night was over. We arrived together, but from the moment we stepped in, I felt the distance between us. She drifted toward her colleagues, while I stood by the bar, nursing a drink and watching her from across the room. Her name was Sophie, the woman I'd loved since college, my wife of 4 years, my reason for believing in forever. But that night, she felt like someone I barely knew. It started small, her laughter, the way she leaned a little too close to one of her coworkers, Daniel. I'd seen him before, confident, charming, the kind of man who didn't know boundaries. When he asked her to dance, she hesitated only for a second before taking his hand. And just like that, they were on the floor, moving together under the soft golden lights, her smile the same one she used to give me. Something in me broke quietly. I didn't storm out. I didn't make a scene. I just stood there, watching the woman I loved sway in another man's arms. Every turn, every laugh, every glance between them felt like a nail being driven into my chest. I told myself it was innocent, a dance between colleagues, nothing more, but when his hand brushed her waist and she didn't pull away, my heart whispered what my mind refused to believe. Maybe I'd already lost her. I finished my drink and stepped outside. The air was cold, the night cruelly silent compared to the music echoing inside. I leaned against the wall, staring at the city lights, trying to remember when things had started to change. Maybe it was the long work hours, the tired conversations, the growing silence between us at dinner. Maybe I'd been so focused on keeping our life together that I'd forgotten to keep our love alive. I almost left right then. I wanted to get in the car and disappear before she even noticed I was gone. But something inside told me to wait, maybe for closure, maybe for punishment. So I stayed outside in the cold, until the doors opened and people began spilling out, laughing, saying goodbyes, calling cabs. Then I saw her. Sophie. Her hair slightly messy now, her eyes bright, too bright. She was still standing beside Daniel, laughing at something he said. He placed a hand on her arm as if it were his right to do so, and I felt that sharp pain again, deep and silent. I turned away, finally ready to go. But just as I took a step toward my car, I heard her voice. "Liam." I stopped but didn't turn. "Liam, wait," she called again, her heels clattering against the pavement. When I finally faced her, she was running, tears streaking down her face, her breath visible in the cold night air. Daniel was still standing by the door, looking confused. When she reached me, she was shaking. "Please, don't go." I crossed my arms, my voice steady but cold. "Why not? Looked like you were having a great time." Her tears fell faster. "It wasn't what it looked like. I swear. He just asked me to dance. I didn't want to embarrass him in front of everyone." I looked away. "You didn't look embarrassed." She stepped closer, her hand trembling as it touched my arm. "Liam, please. When I saw you walk out, I realized how stupid I was. I was trying to prove something to myself, that I still had confidence, that people still noticed me, but when you left, it hit me. You're the only one I've ever wanted to be seen by." Her words cracked something in me. I wanted to stay angry, to keep my pride intact. But seeing her there, mascara running, hands shaking, her voice breaking as she tried to explain, it pulled me back into every memory we'd built together. The long walks. The movie nights. The way she used to fall asleep on my shoulder. "Why didn't you just talk to me?" I asked quietly. "I was scared," she whispered. "Scared that maybe you didn't look at me the same way anymore. That maybe I'd lost the spark for you." I stared at her, and all I could think of was how wrong she was. You never lost it, I said. You just stopped believing you still had it. She broke then, collapsing into my arms, sobbing so hard I felt her whole body shake. I held her, even though part of me didn't want to. Maybe that's what love really is, not always forgiveness, but the ache of still caring even when you're hurt. We stood there for a long time, the night stretching endlessly around us. She kept whispering, I'm sorry, and I kept wondering if sorry could ever be enough. Later, as we drove home in silence, her hand reached for mine, hesitant but sincere. I didn't pull away. Not yet. When we reached our street, she whispered, please, don't hate me. I looked at her, the woman who had danced with someone else but come running back in tears, and I said the only truth I could find. I don't hate you, Sophie. I just don't ever want to feel that lost again. That night, she curled up beside me, holding me like she was afraid I'd disappear in my sleep. And maybe she was right to be afraid, because part of me had disappeared. But another part, the part that still believed in love's fragile resilience, stayed. Months have passed since then. We've rebuilt slowly, not perfectly, but honestly. Sometimes when I close my eyes, I still see that dance, still feel that sting. But then she reaches for me, whispers, I'm here, and for now, that's enough. Because sometimes love isn't about never breaking, it's about finding your way back, even when the music has stopped. And that night, under the cold city lights, she did.